Hello and welcome to whoever's here. Just put some peanuts out for Chippy and hopefully he'll come us today. Is it just me or does that picture look grainy? Hey, Billy Bob. Billy Bob says, hello, Molly. Hey, Billy, thank you so much for coming. How are you doing today? Oh, appreciate you, Billy. Appreciate you. Addison, how are you? How's the yurt? Billy says, I'm good, and you? I'm good, Billy, and I'm glad to hear that you're good. Addison says, good, how about you? I'm glad to hear it, or read it there, Addison, and I'm doing pretty good. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's a little bit. It's quite overcast here, and the woods are a little dark. Got sort of a creepy vibe going on. I love it. Russ, hey, good to see you, Russ. Russ says, hi, Molly. You truly are one of the most special people that have entered my life. I will always be indebted to you. Thank you so much. Russ, you don't understand. I'm excited for you. I mean, I can't be as excited as you are, but like, I shook for like a good half hour. I was so excited for you. I'm so happy for you. Billy says, I love the view. Or, actually, I missed one. Sorry about that, Addison. Addison says it looks fine. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Addison. Billy says, I love the view. Thank you, Billy. This is my backyard / state park. Billy says, hey, Russ. Let me see if I can zoom in on the nuts here a little bit. I put some over there where Chippy was before. So. And I got a new stand so you guys don't have to look at my railing here during the live. Billy said, wish I had a backyard like that. Billy, I wish I had fish tanks as big as yours. Sorry about the plane. Ninny says hello. Hello and welcome, Ninny. Good to have you here. Ninny says hello. Ninny says hi. Russ says H, Billy. Hi, Billy. Billy says we can switch. I don't know. Would I have to live in Texas, though? Texas is so hot. Tracy, hey, it's so good to see you. Tracy says, zoom in on whose nuts. These are peacock nuts. Aw, Russ says, I cried, Molly. It could be life-changing what you did today. I hope so, Russ. I really do. I really do. I mean, I'd do anything to support you. I mean, you and Tracy are like my brother and sister. I mean, you guys are more than friends to me. Billy said, yeah, the heat is a killer. Yeah, it really is. It's not too bad here today, but it has been. It's been really ridiculously hot. Russ says, me too. Aw. Tracy says, oh, thought I'd entered the wrong stream for a sec. AW says D5 Guff. I have no idea what that means, but hello and thank you for joining us. Oh, this is awesome. This is absolutely awesome. The chat is going perfectly at my speed. Did I do something to deserve this? Mary! Oh my gosh, and Mary's here? What did I do to deserve this? Mary says, lovely trees. Are you live today, Mary? I didn't see you. Billy says hi to Mary. Mary says, yes, you did. Oh. Oh, okay. Okay, not yet. Okay. Oh, I did do something to deserve this? What did I do? Because I'd like to do it more often. Mary says, not yet. And hi, Billy. This is so awesome. I got some of the best people here. The chat's going at my speed. It's fairly cool out here. All we need is Chippy to show up. Sanal, hey. Sanal says, hello, Mom Dog Molly. Hello, Sanal. Mary says, just being you. We love you. Aw, Mary, I love you so much. Dawn says, hello again. Dawn, long time no see. How have you been? Sanal says, hello, chat. This is so awesome. I can take a drink whenever I want to. This is my favorite live so far. Russ says, you deserve the world, Molly. Oh, I don't think so, but thank you, Russ. Invalid. Hey, invalid request says, here, Chippy, Chippy, Chippy. Yeah, here, Chippy, come on. Thank you for joining us. Rod says, hi. Hello and welcome, Rod. Dawn says, dishes washed. I almost said bear. Bear in hand. You're quite brave, Dawn. Dishes washed, beer in hand, all is right in my world. That's awesome, Dawn. CBS 12 says, Mary's gigs go Gaga and Greenwich. Good going. I have no... Mods, if I have anybody on a computer, if you could check some of these new people out just to make sure they're legitimate accounts, I'd appreciate that. Oh, Gary M. Hey, Gary M. Gary M says, hi, all. Norma Raymond. Norma Raymond says, hello. Hello, Norma Raymond. Good to see you. Mary says, this is really a chipmunk. There is. And I stopped feeding them before the live, a couple days before the live. So they'll be more hungry. And the idea is that they'll come get the nuts. But I don't know. He showed up last week, so... Gary M says, what wild animals do you have around there? Oh, we have chipmunks, squirrels, fox, deer, raccoon, possum. I've heard we have snakes, but I haven't seen any. Mary says, no, if you stop feeding him, they'll go somewhere else to eat. You have to feed them every day. That doesn't. Okay. Yeah, that kind of well, they hide from me when I bring him out, but last week he came and stole a nut when my phone frickin' died, or did its evil thing that it did. They will want their peacock butts daily. I know you meant nuts, but that was more funny, so I had to say it that way. They want their peacock nuts. They do. Oh, yeah. Just before my live stream, a freaking mean squirrel right above me in the tree threw a freaking acorn at me. I tried to throw it back, but I couldn't find the squirrel. Okay, to be fair, I couldn't find the acorn either. Mary says, that's how hard it is when he knows the phone's on. He just won't cooperate. Mary says, I guess chipmunks and cats have something in common. They do. I think they do. Gary M says, do you see much of the wildlife? I do see quite a bit of it. There's a woodpecker that's been around that I think the trees are just too leafy for me to see him, but he's trying to get another video or at least picture of him. Santix. Hey, Santix. Good to see you here. Thanks for coming. Mary's laughing. Sonalsa is saying hello to Mary's gigs. Mary says, I was going to throw it back, but I couldn't find the squirrel at the acorn. Are you sure? Yeah, the mark on my head says it happened because it hit me right in the temple. Nibbler, Furious Fisherman, says Molly. Hey, Furious Fisherman / Nibbler, how you doing? Mary says you're funny. You're funny too, Mary. That's why I love you. Well, that's not the whole reason I love you, but one of the many reasons. The Lone Wolf, Caleb. Hey, Caleb, how you doing? How's the weather in, 30 minutes south of me? How is it? Sonal says, hello, Furious Fisherman. Stella Pommering says, Stella. Hello, Stella. Russ says, hey, Nibs. Steven, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in a hot minute. How you been? Steven says, whoop, whoop, hope y'all doing well. Clara, did I miss you, Clara? I did. I'm so sorry, honey. Clara, hello. Good to see you. Caleb says, I'm not bad today. Well, that's good to hear. Nibbler says, I am good, thank you. How are you doing? So great to hear you. Oh, thank you, Nibbler. Yu-Yo comes in and makes fun of my accent. But he's fishing today, so I'm safe. Sonal says, hello, BGN. Mary says, little sheets. Santix says, I'm enjoying seeing the good weather here. Too bad we are having level 3 typhoon here in the Philippines for 3 days now. Oh my gosh, Santix, stay safe. Please be safe. Sonal says, hello, Stephen. Clara says, haha, it's okay. Oh, appreciate you, Clara. How you been? I haven't seen you in a minute either. Addison says, hey, Mary. Sonal says, LOL, people think I have an accent. I don't think you have an accent, Sonal. Or at least I haven't heard it. I don't think you have an accent. Sonal says, hello, Addison. Oh, it wouldn't be a live stream without the big B. Please stay on your side. Clara says, I've been good. Kids making me nuts. I hear you. They do that. They tend to do that. Addison says, hey, Sonal. Sonal says, I don't either. Let me see if we can get a better view of the trees here. Oh, I have to zoom out. There you go. What do you guys think about that? Is that better? Mary says, Mary says, well, I don't think you have an accent, Molly. Well, that's because you're American. Although some people from here think I have sometimes say I have a slight Southern accent. I lived in Texas for like a year and a half. That may be where that came from. I do say y'all a lot. Mary says, Edison has a beautiful Canadian accent. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. I agree. Sanal says, if trees were alive, wonder what they're telling us. You mean if they could talk? Because these are, well, other than that one half-dead pine tree in the back there, these are alive. They just don't talk. But if they could tell stories, yeah, I would love to hear, especially that one right there with the curved trunk. Gary M. says, amazing trees, how high do they grow? They're several stories tall. Clara says, yeah, I can see that Texas accent. I also grew up in California, so. Stella says, my grandma and grandpa have a definite Michigan accent. Where are your grandparents from, Stella? Sanal says, yes, I mean if trees could talk. Yeah, I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant. Sanal says, probably saying I am not leaving here. Tracy says, I hazarded a guess. They'd tell us we are destroying the planet. Amen. Yes, they would. They would be like, excuse me, can we breathe here? Sanal says, hello, Red Angel. Stella says, Michigan. Yeah, what part of Michigan, Stella? Like I'm in West Michigan, over by Muskegon. Tracy says hi. And Mary says trees are alive. Bev, hey, good to see you, Bev. How you doing? Bev says, hey, Mom Dog. Bev says, I'm fine, thanks. How are you? Glad to read it. I'm doing pretty good myself. Sanal says, hey, Bev. Stella says, Iron Mountain. Oh, that's a gorgeous area. Oh my gosh, that's a gorgeous area. Did you get to go visit them and see that area? Because, oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. Bev says, hey, Sanal. Let me see if I can do this without breaking my holder here. Oops. I'll show you how high the trees go here. And it was this tree right here that the squirrel threw the nut at me from. I guess to be fair, I'm assuming because it's an oak tree that it was an acorn. Oh, you're going in August. That's awesome. It's gorgeous. Bev says, looks beautiful where you are. Yeah, we got quite a few trees. Fishing Frustrations, hello and welcome. Fishing says hello, hi, Mama Dog. North Texas, good to see you. Hey, North Texas. North Texas says hello, Mom Dog in chat. Fishing Frustration says hi, I know what you meant. I appreciate you. Gary M says, that's meant like to see them on a windy day. Oh, yeah. Yeah, when it's windy, yeah, it's pretty cool. Hang on, guys, I don't know. Okay, there we go. That's how I operate it. Put you back in your holder. There we go. Bev says, hey, North Texas. North Texas says, hello, Bev. Sanal says, hello, North Texas. Even the birds are being kind of quiet. I wonder if we're getting ready to get a storm. That would be awesome. I would not complain. North Texas says, hi, Sanal is all about freedom. Nibbler says, fishing frustrations? I feel violated. Fishing frustrations says, hi, Furious. Sanal says, hello, fishing frustrations. Oh, I already read that. Or did I? Sorry, I'm not used to being able to look around while I'm doing a live, and I kind of got lost in the trees there for a moment. Stella says, I have to go. Well, thank you so much for coming, Stella. I hope to see you back again. You have a fantastic weekend. North Texas says, my mind just put the two names together, Furious Fishing Frustrations. Actually, that would be a cool channel name. Gary M says, what the weather like there in winter? Oh, we get snow. We get snow, and I'll be doing that, doing lives in the snow as well. Fishing Frustration says, hi, Sanal. Summer, Ocean Waves says, hi, Mom Dog in chat. Fishing Frustration says, hi, Texas. Bev says, hey, Ocean. Summer says, bye, Stella. Sanal says, hello, Summer. Nibbler says, ha, ha. Summer says, 22, oh my gosh, already? Thank you guys so much. 22 minutes, 22 likes, wow. You guys are so sweet. Thank you so much. Summer says, hi, Sanal. North Texas says, what part of the world are you in, Mom Dog? It looks like Northeast U.S. It is, actually. I'm in Michigan. I'm on the west coast of Michigan, almost on Lake Michigan. Steven says, or Bev says, hey, Furious. Steven says, I'm back, doing well. Sorry, I had to go make lunch for kiddos. Well, appreciate you feeding the kids, because, yeah, it would suck if you didn't. Appreciate you, Steven. Kage! Kage said, you didn't tell me you were going live. I'm so sorry. I completely forgot. My bad. I'm a bad friend. I apologize. That was completely my fault. Sorry, Kage. Summer says, hey, Bev, how are you? Sanal says, if we combine Furious Fisherman and Fishing Frustration, we get Frustrated Fisherman Fishing. Tracy says 24. Wow. Summer says, Kage, she goes live every Saturday at 12:30 East. Yeah, but we had an arrangement. We have an arrangement that we tell each other when we're going live, and I dropped the ball on my end. That was 100% my fault. Bev says, fine, thanks, Ocean. How are you? North Texas says, beautiful. Almost moved to Zealand a few years back, but the job didn't pan out. Aw, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's a pretty area, too. Sanal says, it's a joke. You're all good, Sanal. Bev says, hey, Kage. Mary says, ooh. Summer says, Little Red, hi. Kage says, my computer overheated during stream live. Oh, no, Kage. Oh, no. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. What are you going to do about it now? Do you have to get a whole new unit? Or? I'm so sorry. Sanal says, hello, Kage. Kage says, hey, Bev. Mary says, Summer with love. Summer says, Mary with love. Mike the Bike Dasher. And whoa, friends. Hey, Mike the Bike Dasher. How you doing? So good to see you. Bev says, hey, Mike. Summer says, Mike, henwo. Sanal says, henwo, Mike. Noah, good to see you, Noah. How you doing? Noah says, hi. Mike the Bike Dasher says, henwo, ocean waves, and Bev. Mary says she goes live on Saturday at 12:30, Kage. Yeah, but we have an agreement, and I broke it, so I'm bad. Unfortunately, I already have to go. So glad I caught your live. Have a great day, everyone, says North Texas. Thank you so much for coming in, and you have a fantastic weekend. Mike says, doing good. Went to the gym earlier. How are you? I'm doing pretty good. Glad to hear, or glad to read that you're doing pretty good. Mary says, Mike the Bike. Summer says, Noah, hi. Mary says, I know Kage's like me. We have memory issues. Do you want me to text you before I go live, Mary? Sanal says, take care, North Texas. Sanal says, hello, Noah. Mike says, henwo, Sanal and Mary. Anna Marie. Anna Marie says, hello, lovely Molly. Hello, Anna. So good to see you. Oh, Mary says, snow. Ew. Yes. Mary and I agree on so many things, but we disagree on snow and rain. Summer says, bye, North Texas. Summer says, 27 likes. Wow, you guys are spoiling me. Thank you so much, guys. Kage says, I'm so much worse about letting Molly know I'm live. No, you're better at it than I am, because you go live more often than I do. Noah is doing an upside down smile. Summer says, Anna Marie, hi. Bev says, hey, Noah. Matt's Aquarium, hey, good to see you. How you doing, Maddie? Maddie says, hi, Molly. Maddie, this is, if everybody could sub up to Matt's Aquarium, this is no F's, no frills, no mercies aquarium channel. So if you like watching his fish stream, which I really do, let's get him subbed up so he can have a channel dedicated just to his fish. I think we would all love to see that. I know I would. So if you sub up to him, I greatly appreciate it. Oops, I'm getting behind again here. Bev says, hey, Mary. Anna says, always great to see you. How was your morning, start of your afternoon? It was fantastic. It was fantastic. Anna, were you, I think you missed, did you miss what happened earlier today? If you missed any part of Russ's live, Anna, trust me on this, you want to rewatch it. It was just spectacular. Matt's Aquarium says, or Anna says, hello, Ocean. And hey, Maddie. Matt's Aquarium says, Ocean's hi. Tracy says, Anna would love, we love Anna. Anna's the sweetest. I don't know. I mean, there's so many sweet people on here, but Anna is the queen of sweetness. Sanal says, hello, Anna Marie. Russ says, hi, Anna. Summer says, Matt's hi. Anna says, actually, yes. Anna Marie says, Tracy, hello again. Sanal says, hello, Matt. Don, good to see you. You were in here earlier, and you've just been quiet. Appreciate you hanging out. That's awesome of you. Maddie says, Anna Marie. Dawn says, Maddie, Anna Marie. I can read. Maddie says, Sanal, hi, bro. Russ says, I'm here, Mom, just making some food. Appreciate you, Russ. Appreciate you greatly. Summer says, Little Red, I just subbed to you. Appreciate you, Summer. Summer's awesome. Anna says, LOL, hey, Russ. Fancy seeing you guys here. Yeah, what about that? Maddie says, hi, Dawn, buddy. Mary says, I love rain. That's why I drive around and run around in it. I just don't like the thunder. Oh, I like the thunder and the lightning. And I appreciate you suffering it to show it to me. You don't know how much that means to me, Mary. Oh, woodpecker. And he stopped. Sorry about that. I was trying to see if I could get a shot of the woodpecker, but he stopped making noise, so I don't know where he is. Gary says, Maddie. Maddie says, Mary. Maddie says, I love rain. Why, I fished in it all day. Oh, you did fish in the rain, Maddie? That doesn't surprise me, though. Anna Marie says, I missed the last 20 minutes, had to feed the kiddos, but what I got to see was incredible. We'll definitely go back and rewatch. Yeah, it was... Oh, yeah, you were there for most of it. I thought so, Anna. I thought so. Anna says, Prodigal. Dawn says, who is also Prodigal Aquarist, got a problem in one of my tanks. Oh no, trying to diagnose now. So back turned, but earbuds in. That's okay. If the trees do anything, I'll let you know, Dawn. I'm pretty sure you won't miss anything. Maddie says, Sanal brother. Summer says, BGN hi. If you, Mary, if you like fish, like Maddie and Billy, you want to subscribe to BGN Aquariums. He has some really awesome fish. You would like them. And he has freaking puffer fish. Okay? He has puffer fish, and he has videos of the puffer fish. You have to check that out. I'm getting puffer fish eventually. I have to have them. Mary says Maddie is awesome. Awesomeness. He is. Maddie is like a brother. Russ and Maddie are like brothers to me. And I wouldn't be here without them. Sonal says, I agree, Mary. Tracy says, thanks, Ocean, returned. Anna says, Molly, you are making me blush, but that is so not true. I am second to none compared to you. That's not true, Anna. You're the sweetest. Tracy, Maddie, Russ, Dawn, just the whole gang. You're the sweetest, Anna. You are. I think if we took a vote, you'd win. Russ said, could be life-changing, Anna. Maddie's Aquariums, Matt's Aquarium, aka Maddie, says, no, Anna, not at all. Russ says, Ocean. Mary says, LOL, Maddie. Share Bear. Hey, Share Bear. Share Bear says, hi. Thank you so much for coming, Share Bear. Summer says, thanks, Little Red. Larry, Uncle Larry is here. Larry says, hi, Mom Dog. Summer says, Share Bear, hi. Hang on just a second, guys. I gotta get a drink. And I'm back. Anna says, same, Molly, but I think I am going to take Russ's advice and do a shrimp tank. I think it'd be cool for me and Elizabeth to do together. Yes, it totally would. It totally would. And you could have thousands of shrimp in that size tank. Summer says, Larry, hi. Tracy says, no problem, Ocean. Mike the Bike Dasher says, Henwo grape soda Share Bear. I love grape soda. Gary M says, have you opened a can yet, Russ? Jack, hey, good to see you, Jack. Jack says, hello, Molly. Hang on a second, Gary. I'm sorry. I thought I already did this. There you go. Larry says, hello, Ocean. Rusty, good to see you. Rusty says, hey, Mom. Jack says, hey, Larry. Share Bear says, Larry, Mary, Ocean, and Matt, Mike, Jack, Gary, Red, Angel, hi. Share Bear's so awesome. Look at that. Jack says, hi, Share Bear. Summer says, hi, Jack. Jack says, hello, Ocean. Sanal says, hello, Share Bear and Jack. Jack says, Anna, good to see you. Summer says, hi, Rusty. Anna says, hey, Jack. Jack says, hey, Sanal. Summer says, hi, Gary. Sanal says, hello, Rusty. Anna says, good to see you as well. good to see you as always, because well and always look identical, right? Good to see you as always, Jack. Hope you are doing well. Russ says, just about to, Gary. Let us know. Nibbler's Furious Fisherman says, Russ better have half a bottle of rum down there. Right? Champagne is what you need, Russ. Rusty says, Ocean, good name. Yeah, isn't that a cute name? Ocean Waves. Isn't that awesome? Rusty says, Sanal, BGN. Summer says, beautiful view, Molly. Thank you, Summer. Jack says, Gary. Rusty says, Jack. Ocean Waves, who is Summer, says, thank you, Rusty. Jack says, hi, Rusty. Ocean, who is Summer, says, 30 likes now, Mom. Wow. So 32. Holy cow. Thank you guys so much. I don't know what to say. Anna says, 31 likes. Woo. Oh, Summer, I think you can see into the future. Rusty says, I'm subbed, Ocean. Appreciate you. Appreciate you guys subscribing to each other. That means a lot to me. Anna says 33. Holy cow, 33. Wow. Thank you guys. Jack says, hi, Mary. Anna Marie says 34. Let's go. Am I caught up on chat? Yes. Awesome. I haven't seen Chippy yet today. It's been overcast, almost like it wants to rain or storm, and I haven't heard as many birds as normal, and I haven't seen any other than the squirrel that threw the nut at me. I haven't seen anything. Kage says, I'm mostly lurking, thinking too much about peace. I don't blame you, Kage. It means a lot to me that you're here. I appreciate it. And I hope you can get things worked out with that computer. I know that's really a huge thorn in your side right now. Adele! Adele, hey! Good to see you. Adele says hi. Adele is Collaboration of Curiosities. She is in Australia. And she is one of my favorite Australians. You guys should check her out. Lately, I'm always missing your lives, Adele, and I'm so sorry about that. I'll get better. Maddie on his normal channel says 35. Oh, thank you, Maddie. 2 of those were you, though, wasn't it? I appreciate you, Maddie. You're the best. Addison says, okay. Jack says, Brother Maddie. Invalid says, Hoo, chippy, 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 chippy. Jack says, hi, Adele. Anna says, hopefully it's not as hot as it has been here. It's 100 and freaking 5 in the sun. Oh my God, Anna. No, it's like under 80 here today. So it's real nice. Oh my God, Anna, be safe, please. Maddie says, Jack, brother. Jack says, hello, Kage. Sonal says, hello, invalid request. Invalid says, here, 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 chippy, chippy, chippy. Invalid says, hi, Sonal. Welshman! Oh, Welshman, it's so good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in. Welshman Forever says, good evening. Anna says, Molly, your happiness and sweetness is infectious. Oh, thank you. You guys are just too nice to me. Maddie says, Welshman buddy. Summer says, Rusty, I sub to you. Bam. Welshman says, hi. Jack says, I don't think I have met an Aussie that's not my favorite. I know, Aussies are so cool. I love accents. I'm really into accents. I love listening to accents. Summer says, Welshman hi. Welshman says, no foo hi. Is that a... Either that's a typo or it went over my head. I apologize, Welshman. Jack says, hi, Welshman. Russ says, that's hot, Anna. Yeah. Welshman says, hi, Ocean. Summer says, hi, Billy. No F's given. That's Maddie. Appreciate you, Maddie. You are adorable and you're the best. Welshman says, am so happy. Really? Oh, that's right. You hit. Welshman hit 500 subs, you guys. How awesome is that? Sonal says, hello, Welshman. Summer says, no F given, hi. Anna says, yeah, it's just miserable out today, Russ. Staying in except for when I am trying to keep my dogs cool. I read that as crying. I was like, wow, it's so hot you're crying? Come here. Jack says, that's Maddie. Yep. Sanal says, that's Maddie. Maddie says, question mark. Welshman Forever says, hi. Comment deleted. That's Maddie too. Comment deleted. Says to love. Oops. Anna says, oh my God, Russ, we only have one puppy left. We found Annie a great home and she is thriving. Funny part is how there is a tiny kitten that moved in under my porch. Isn't that always the way? You get rid of one and then another one comes around. Welshman says 403 to 1,000. No, wait, you hit 1,000, Welshman? Did you really? Holy dog's not. Russ says, congrats, Welshman. Nibbler says, Aussies have to be cool. Great whites, Crocs, blue bottles, blue ring octopus, not to mention snakes. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they have to contend with some unusual things for sure. Russ says, Molly made me cry today, Anna. Not in a bad way, though. I bullied Russ and I made him cry. Welshman says, thanks, Anna. Anna says, Molly made you cry. What did she do, Russ? I know Molly couldn't have been being mean. I can be mean. I mean, not when I'm really mad or somebody has wronged me or somebody that I love, I can get evil. Although nobody believes it until they see it. Russ says, that's great, Anna. Always enjoys looking at your puppies. Sanal says, Mom Dog gave you a like from another channel. Oh, thank you, Sanal. I love you. You're so wonderful. Jack says, Rusty and Welshman subbed you both and left a comment. Appreciate you, Jack. Robert says, message retracted. Hello and welcome, Robert. Sanal says another. Oh. Welshman says, nearly in a week, I will be on 1K. Wow. Welshman, oh, that is so awesome. I'm so happy for you. Sanal says, Welshman, congrats. Russ says, gifted a golden ticket, Anna. I am so over the moon that I was able to do that. That was so thrilling for me. I can't even tell you. Comment deleted says, love you, Molly. Anna says, I was going to say, I absolutely love you, Molly, but I will totally beef with you if you are being mean to Russ. Right? Right? I would too. Robert says, she said she can get evil. Yeah, I can. I can, believe it or not. Anna says, a golden ticket? What is that? I must have missed that. Sanal says, oh, Sanal's other channel. Mom Dog, this is my other channel. Hang on one second. There we go. Robert says, hi, Mom Dog. Sorry I misspelled the last. No worries. You're all good. We speak typo here. Welshman says, Jack connected to you. Anna says, I totally believe you, Molly, because I am the exact same way. The Heartless Nomad, that's also Maddie, says Molly with love. Jack says, see ya all at 11:30 at the Heartless Highlander. I have you run down the hill. What? See you all. I have you run down the hill. Are you doing something weird at 7:30, Maddie? Sanal says, like from this channel as well. Appreciate you, Sanal. Oh my gosh, 40 likes. Thank you guys so much. Russ says, Molly gifted 10 memberships today, Anna. Fish Shop Matt got one, and it could be life-changing. Yes, we hope so. We certainly hope so. Although he was already catching your channel caught his eye before that too, so I'm hoping this just kind of seals the deal. Jack says, have to run down the hill. Oh, be careful, Jack. Please be careful. Be very careful. Soul to Soul says, Molly, that's wow, Maddie. Am I back? Mary says the live is skipping. Anna says, Molly. Welshman says a snake has swallowed her phone. I would love to see a snake out here. I really would. Tracy says, hello. Mary says, no, the squirrel stole it. Tracy says, Molly. Welshman says, and Molly is wrestling it. Mary says, the squirrel gonna throw it out in a minute and she'll be... Tracy said, new stream? Welshman said, yes. Gary M says, yes, you are. Nibbler says, you are back. Tracy says, where? Okay. Awesome. It says that nobody's here, but it does show that I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. I have no idea what happened. I put it on to 5G instead of Wi-Fi to see if we can prevent that from happening. Welshman said, yes, Molly beat that damn snake. She face planted that. Tracy says, thought you'd run off with Chippy. No, I would not. If I had Chippy, I would shove him up in front of the camera. When I was streaming with Maddie, he almost came up to my foot. Lady Sky, good to see you. Lady Sky says hi. Russ says, hey, Mall. Lady Sky says, hi, Mom Dog 72. Holy crap. I don't know if you guys could hear that radio, but that is freaking louder than they allow around here. Tracy says, I thought maybe Dr. Evil had taken over. Lady Sky says, how are you, Mom Dog 72? I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself? Mint chocolate chip balls. Hey, good to see ya. How are you? Thank you so much for dropping in. Mint chocolate says, hello, Mom Dog, and hello, chat. Mary says, does anyone else have sound? Welshman says, who is Dr. Evil? Dr. Evil is my cat, Welshman. Lady Sky says, I'm making M&M brownies today for a church potluck meal tomorrow. I'm doing great. Can y'all hear me? Mary says, Dr. Evil is Molly's kitty cat. Welshman says, hi, Mary. Yes, sound on this end. Thank you, Welshman. Mint Chocolate says, I'm good, thanks. Just caught you live, so thought I'd stop by and spread some love. Appreciate you, Mint Chocolate. Thank you so much. Tracy says, Dr. Evil is going to take over the world. Someday he might. Mary says, yeah, I have no sound. I'm sorry. Nowhere to hide. That's Maddie. Hi, Maddie. Welshman says, Minto. Tracy says, yes. Mint Chocolate says, hey, Welshman. Welshman says, Mary, refresh. Mint Chocolate says, how are you today, Mom Dog? I'm great. I'm great. How are you? Mary says, I did. I guess I'm talking to everybody but Mary today. Mint Chocolate says, hi, Little Red. Welshman says, okay, Mary Hun. Mint Chocolate says, hi, Mary's Gigs. Russ says, mint chocolate. Oh my gosh, how many channels do you have, Maddie? Maddie, you're just the best. Tracy says, hello, mint chocolate chip balls. I like the sound of that. Mint Chocolate says, I'm doing well, thanks, having a lazy day. Good for you. Because it's raining? Awesome. So good day for laundry and cleaning. It's also a good day to sit by the window. Gary says, how close is our house to the trees? Well, it looks further here, but it's about, oh, come on. These peacock nuts here are about 5 feet away from me. And the deck is right here. So it's, we're literally right in the woods. There's the deck again here. Oh, actually, that's kind of a nicer shot, isn't it? Yeah, we'll leave it like that for a bit. Mint Chocolate says, hi, BGN. Mint Chocolate says, hi, Gary. LOL, I was hoping for a thunderstorm because they way cooler than boring rain. I agree. I love thunderstorms, but I'll take rain too. I need some rain to fill up the creek out back here. Or down that hill, rather. Gary says, wow, that's amazing. Welshman says, hi. Mint Chocolate says, that is a big old tree there. Yeah, we do have some. They're very tall. Yeah, they go all the, I don't know if let me see if I can do this without breaking my new stand. Oh, that's as far as it'll let me go, but yeah. Russ says, hi, Mint. Welshman says, Molly, what the most amazing animal that visited you? Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I really love all animals. Although I really gotta say it was pretty cool when Chippy almost came up to me a few weekends ago when I was on Maddie's live stream. That was pretty cool. Like I could see his little whiskers and I mean he was literally maybe 2 inches from my big toe. Mint Chocolate says, do you get any owls out there at nighttime? Yes, we do. I haven't seen them. I heard one once, but I haven't, or no, I lied. I did see one. I saw one on my neighbor's roof. We get hawks and eagles and all kinds of birds, woodpeckers. Well, the birds are so quiet and the woods are kind of dark. It's kind of creepy. Mint Chocolate says, do you get, oh, I already read that, sorry. Welshman says, nice. Gary M says, so what's the population like in your area? How many people? Well, it's somewhat of a tourist town, so the population changes depending on the season. Like in the summer, there's a lot of, it's pretty populated. I mean, like there's a lot of traffic. But in the winter, a lot of people go down south, and so, or, you know, go back to their home state or whatever. And so we have a lot less traffic, which is awesome because I hate fighting traffic in the snow. Mary says, yay, sound. Yay, Mary. Summer says, hi, Mint Chocolate. Mary says, they come here. The owls? Summer says, hi, Gary. Welshman says, I love dark. You should put a camera out at night and leave it run for a few hours, see what you could catch. Yeah, I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about, I might get like a GoPro, like a weatherproof GoPro, and put it out here. Just to see what I can catch. Welshman says, yay, Mary's got sound. Maple! Hey, good to see you, Maple. Oh, there's a robin. Let me see if I can get it before it goes away. Oh, it's going for some of the peanuts. Where'd you go, little robin? Now it went behind the tree, damn it. So I guess I just made you guys dizzy for nothing. Sorry. Mary says, the snowbirds come here, our county inflate by 1 million people, and they steal all our jobs, and they herd our wildlife. Or is that hurt? Oh, something's coming up here, guys. Hang on a sec. There's a robin, but it's... Oh, there's a couple of them. They're darting between the trees, like they think I can't see them if they dart in between the trees. Mary says, if you set a camera out all night and leave it running, it's going to hurt your YouTube channel if you're trying to build one. No, I was thinking like I would just leave it run all night and record and then only put up, you know, the interesting stuff in a video. Because maybe 2 people will be in it, will stop by, and they'll leave likes, and it's just going to hurt your whole algorithm. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Carl! Hey, good to see you, Carl. Carl says, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Carl. How are you? Mary says, so long as you don't do it live, you'll be okay. Appreciate you, Mary. Welshman says, what would be amazing, deer coming out to eat the nuts? It would. And in the fall, that actually might happen. Maple says, very nature-filled property. I like that. Thank you. Summer says, hi, Carl. Gary M says, do you get many birds of prey? Yeah, we do get hawks, and I think we get eagles. But I've seen a few different kind of hawks. Summer says, yo, Maple. Hi, yo, Maple. Maddie says, hi, Carl. Mary says, hurt. Oh, okay. I gotcha. Mary says, hello, Ocean. Or, I'm sorry, Maple says, hello, Ocean. Mary says, and they poison the ground with their pesticide. Yeah, like that freaking lady who I would have loved to smack her. Mint Chocolate says, hi, Ocean Wave. Mint Chocolate says, hi, yo, Maple. Carl says, I've been busy in the train station. Oh, how fun. Did you have a good time, Carl? Did you take some videos? Summer says 47 like. Oh, wow. Thank you guys. Maddie says mint balls. Hi. Mint chocolate chip balls says hi, wrecking balls. Mary says that would be cool. Mint chocolate says hi, Carl. Yo Maple says hello, chocolate chip. Welshman says yes, Carl, cool. Welshman says hi. Mint chocolate says, do you get any bears out there? I've heard that we have some more a little bit further north. I haven't seen any here. Mary says, hey, yo. Maple says, mint chip is one of my favorite ice cream flavors. It's not very popular these days. Yeah, I haven't seen it around as much. Carl says, I have a video and a short. Sweet. Good deal. Gate, how you doing? It's good to see you. Gate Smasher says hello. Maple says, hiya, Mary. Summer says, I have to go test drive my board. Oh, fun. That sounds like fun. You have a great time, and you have thank you so much for stopping in, and you have a great weekend. Pokies. Hey. Pokey says Dr. Evil eats bears. He might. I'm not sure I'm still got the camera angle wrong. Sorry, guys. Mint chocolate's mine too, Maple. Hey, that's why I chose the name. Mary says, have fun, Summer. Russ says, hi, Pokes. Summer says, be back later. Love y'all. We love you too, Summer. Thank you so much for stopping in. Appreciate you. Mint chocolate says, hi, Gate Smasher. Summer says, thank you, Mary. Mint chocolate says, hi, Positive Pokes. Welshman says, oh, Mary, Big 4 got hit last night. He got over 500 subs. You mean Big 3? Big 3 dashing? Mint chocolate says, later, Ocean. Have a wonderful day. Poke says, I've been running around. Yes, you have. Summer says, thanks for hosting, Mom. Aw, you're so welcome. I love to see you guys. Nibbler says, 50 like, holy crap. Legends never die. Thank you, Nibbler. Gate says, good day to everyone. I'm enjoying my afternoon safely by the pool. 108 here. Holy dog snot. Maple says, oh, good, Mr. Pokes. I've been meaning to catch you live about the music, YouTube's new guideline changes. It's probably not wise to share content audio for the time being. Welshman says, oops, come on. Yeah, he got smashed. Pokey says, all good, bucko. Aqua Donkey, hey, good to see you. Hello and welcome. Aqua Donkey says, hey, Mom Dog. Welshman says, Big 3. Oh, Big 3 did make it to 500. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, that's so awesome. Aqua Donkey says, hey, Pokies. Mary says, go Gate, go. Maple says, they have a new app you can use where they allow you to utilize sounds of music files without issue. It's in the App Store. Oh, appreciate you, Maple. Aqua Donkey says, hey, Mary. Mary says, yay. Pokey says, Aqua Donk. Maple said, it's the creator's app from Google LLC. Gate says, Mary, you're so great. Mary. Hey, Mary. Mint Chocolate Chip says, hi, Aqua Donkey. Pokey says, I got free stuff on CapCut. Oh, you did? Like what kind of free stuff, Pokes? Aqua Donkey says, howdy, Mint Chocolate. Welshman says, yeah, I bet he was shocked. Yeah. Maple says, from that new app, you'll be able to edit videos directly on YouTube and upload them. It's brand new. Came out in June. Oh. Maple says, only 1 million downloads so far. That's how new it is. Wow. Although 1 million still sounds like a lot. Josh, hey, good to see ya. Josh says, Mom Dog. Mary says, yo. Josh says, Mary. Jamal, hey, good to see you. Jamal says, do you have Twitter? I do, but I hardly ever use social media. If you were asking me, if you were asking somebody else, um, yeah, just shout out their name. Mary says, hey, Aqua, Josh. Josh says, love y'all. We love you too, Josh. Welshman says, Mary is like a sister to me. I love that woman. Yeah, I do too. She is like a sister to me too. Mint Chocolate says, hi, Josh. Josh says, how's your weather? It's feeling like 109 right now. Wow, Josh, that's too hot. It's actually under 80 here today, so I'm pretty happy. Mint Chocolate says, hi, Jamal. Mary says, you got to be careful with CapCut because most everything you pull out of there is copyrighted or is content on AI that doesn't want. Oh, content that AI doesn't want. Okay, got it. Carl says, I'm a stranger. No, you're not, Carl. Why you say that? We love you, Carl. Maple says, it does sound like a lot, but in the scope of YouTube itself, having 3.5 million videos uploaded every day, yeah. 1 million creator app downloads is only half. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Excuse me, sorry. Mint Chocolate says, how far is it to the local superstore from where you are, Mom Dog? We've got one just up the street here. So there's not far. And then a mile in the direction that the camera is pointing right now, I have the beach of Lake Michigan. Gates says, nice cold and fresh fruit salad. Oh, yeah, that sounds good. Mary says, yo, is it on the computer or just the app store? Jamal says, wow, you're very attentive in chat. Good for you. If that was for me, thank you very much. I try really hard to be interactive in chat. Maple says, you can access it on PC as well. Oh, that's awesome. Russ says, that's hot, Josh. Josh says, lucky Mom Dog, it's actually 89. That's still disgusting, but feels like 109. Russ says, not a stranger, Carl. Russ says, you the man. That's right. Yeah, we love you, Carl. Welshman says, my store is only a 3 minutes walk. I don't walk, but it's about a 3-minute drive. Maple says, if you do AI content, you'll want the new Creator app. They have automatic captions, narration, transitions, backgrounds, fair use music, etc., etc. It's YouTube's way of beating out TikTok. Mary says that YouTube does not want the AI content from CapCut. Oh, okay. Mint Chocolate says, oh, so you're not far from another YouTuber I talked to called this MFN guy who lives on Lake Superior. No, Lake Superior is actually quite a ways away. I do live in Michigan, but yeah, Lake Superior is quite a ways away from where I am. Maple says Mary is correct. YouTube is sick of having third-party AI content flooding the platform. They want it done locally here on YouTube now. Russ says, please click that like button, guys. Thank you, Russ. Appreciate you. Pokey says, I don't use AI, anything, just music. That music that you have for the card reveal, I freaking love that music. Like, is there a way I can get a copy of it, or do I just play the card of the day repeatedly? Because I could do that too. Russ says, and obviously the sub button too. Appreciate you, Russ. Addison says, hey, pokers. Mary says, Mint Chocolate says, okay. Mint Chocolate says, hi, Pillsbury. Russ says, having a beer now. Good for you, Russ. That's awesome. Glad to hear it. Mary says, music or keep it under 6.5 seconds and you can use anything. Pokey says, that's not mine, LOL, but if I change it, I get less. I try different music. Really? I mean, I'm there for the card. The music is just kind of a bonus. Oops, you guys are crooked. I'm sorry about that. That's Mary said, oh, I already read that. Abdul, hello and welcome. I'm not sure what you said there, but if you could please speak English. I don't understand other languages. Please speak English if you're able to. Gary M says, well deserved, mate. Yes, couldn't agree more, Gary. Pokey says, I don't know why. Russ says, hi, Gary. Abdul says something I don't understand. Carl says, I've never used music. Mint Chocolate says, no spamming in chat, please. Yes, that too. Mary says, yes, I know, Pokes. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't matter until 1,000 subs and 4K watch hours. Mary says, YouTube wants original content. Russ says, don't spam, Abdul. Mint Chocolate says, he's saying hello in Pakistan. Oh, okay. Hello, Abdul. I appreciate you using English. Thank you so much. Hello and welcome. Mary says, I love Pokey's card song. Yeah, me too. I love that song. Maple says, summed up, YouTube doesn't want you to use content or features from somewhere else, and upload it here. That's why they made the creator app. So you can do that on YouTube and they can tag it correctly. Abdul said, I am Indonesian. Well, hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Mary says, everybody loves Poke's song for the card. Yeah, we do. Abdul says, yeah. Mint Chocolate says, oh, Indonesian, my bad. Still, I appreciate it. I appreciate you speaking in English for us. Maple says, there's a lot of spam on YouTube and they're getting rid of it. Yeah, I've noticed a lot of spam. It would be awesome if they got rid of it. Carl says, YouTube could be interesting next month. Yeah, I'm waiting for that too, Carl. Mary says, maybe you can buy rights when you get monetized, Pokes. Oh, hey, there's the thought. Russ says, most of my fish are Indonesian. I think it's starting to rain, guys. Abdul says, always healthy for you and your family. I appreciate that. Same to you, Abdul. Artsy, hey, good to see you. Artsy says, I'm a spam bot sent to tell everyone to like and subscribe. I appreciate you, Artsy. Good to see you. How are you? Mary says, I don't like those videos where folks stick their own photo in the prefab video. Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Mary says, hey, Artsy. Maple says, Artsy, be careful saying that. Yeah, they're starting to crack down on bots. Maple says, Artsy, Abdul says, always healthy for you and your family. I appreciate you, Abdul. Thank you. Artsy says, hey, Mary. Hey, yo, Maple. Mint Chocolate says, YouTube has started to shadow ban you for spamming in chats now. Oh, really? That's kind of a time saver. Maddie, back on his original channel, says, Artsy bro. Pokey says, where did Artsy go? Artsy says, I should be careful. Seems like I'm already on some kind of timeout. I can't go live. Oh no! What does it say when you try to go live? What happened? Abdul says, have you ever been to Bali? Abdul, I've actually never been out of the US. I've always wanted to go outside the US, but I've never been outside the US. Mint Chocolate says, artsy fartsy. Pokey says, chasing the poops. What? Did I miss something? Artsy says, hey, Maddie. Maple says, Mary is right. Eventually, you'll be able to purchase usage of music right here on YouTube and be able to use it. Artsy says, hey, Pokes. Hey, Mint. Mint Chocolate says, hey, Maddie. Abdul says, have you ever been to Bali? No, I haven't. Maple says, think of these changes as being the beginning of the removing of YouTube and how it's going to work going for remodeling. Okay, that makes sense. I'm like, removing of YouTube. I can read. Welshman says, hi, Pokes. Maddie says, Mint, hi, buddy. Mint says, it's not good, artsy fartsy. Did they say why you can't go live? I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, me too. Colleen, hey, good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Colleen says, hi, Mom Dog. Tracy says, I've only been to ROI. I'm not sure where that is. But you've been out of the country or out of your country? Of course, you've been outside of the U.S. Artsy says, it says it's not connected. I have two options, end stream or try again. Oh, hopefully that's just something weird going on with your internet. Mint says, hi, Colleen. Maddie said, friends, hi. Pokey says, famous I am. You are. Artsy says, hey, Colleen. Maple says, it's going to be beneficial to a lot of creators, especially smaller creators, as long as you're not presenting yourself as spam. Read the guideline. Yeah. Pokey says, Molly is famous. Apparently, I got 55 freaking likes, 56 likes. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Artsy says, no, they didn't say anything. It acting like my phone isn't connected. Huh. I hope that's, have you tried restarting your phone? Just out of curiosity. Colleen says, hi, Mint Chocolate Chip. Mint Chocolate says, oh, maybe Mary's gigs can help you, Artsy. Colleen says, hi, Artsy. Abdul says, Indonesian gives smiles to foreign tourists. Rinjani? Did I say that right? Rinjani or Bali? That's awesome, Abdul. I'm so glad to hear that. Tracy says, Rep of Ireland. Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. Republic of Ireland. Colleen says, hi, Gary. Daisy! Kelly! Hey! Good to see you, Kelly. Kelly says, Molly, hey! Woohoo! So good to see you, girl. How are you? Colleen says, hi, Daisy. Artsy says, hey, Daisy May. Mint Chocolate says, Daisy May. Daisy May says, hi, Colleen and Artsy. Welshman Forever says, hi, Red Angel. Abdul says, Indonesian gives smiles to foreign tourists, Rinjani or Bali. Appreciate you. Daisy May, Miss Kelly says, Richard, hey. Artsy said, I've tried everything. Nothing seems to be working. Mint Chocolate says, what time is Scrabble, Miss Daisy May? LOL, I got a game to not lose or I'll shave my head. Daisy May. Hi, Welshman. Colleen says, hi, Carl. Abdul says, I'm so sorry, I don't understand that. Daisy says, was just getting ready, Richard, but jigsaw puzzle box first. Welshman says, hi, Daisy. Daisy says, hi, Carl. Tracy says, Welshman, hey. Maple says, Abdul, Indonesia, beautiful ocean, love from Canada. Archie says, hey, Welshman. Mint Chocolate says, oh, thanks, Daisy May. Colleen says, hi, Welshman forever. Carl says, I'm a loner on YouTube. No, I don't think you are. I think you've got a group of friends. I mean, we're your friends, and we do care about you. Abdul says, thank you. You're very welcome. Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you, Abdul. Did it just get darker, or is it me? I think it just got darker. Oh, I hope it rains. Daisy May said, did I see Maddie here? Yes, he came in, I think, on all of his channels. He has been here on all of his channels. You certainly did see him. Welshman says, hi, Artsy. Daisy May says, I don't have my glasses on right now. Maddie says, Kelly with love. Carl says, I like YouTube's email. I don't get emails from YouTube. I think I'm too small. Daisy May says, hi, Maddie. Welshman Forever says, hi, friend of Dasher. That's Colleen. Her name is Colleen. Friend of Dasher is Colleen. I know I tend to not always say everybody's name correctly on here. Mint Chocolate says, I subbed you, Yo Maple. Appreciate you, Mint Chocolate. Daisy May says, Maddie with love. Addison says, Crazy May. Addison is Pillsbury Yurta. Welshman Forever says, hi, Colleen. Kelly says, Yurt, good to see you. Yurty McYurtison. The one who yurts. Mary did a special yurt emoji just for summoning Addison when we need him. Well, also it's really cool. But I used it for summoning Addison. Mint Chocolate said, I subbed Little Red. Appreciate you, Mint Chocolate. Abdul says, learn Indonesian. I will give you the basic of Indonesian. I'm not sure. I'm actually fairly old. I'm not sure I would be able to learn a new language as old as I am. Tracy says, mint balls, thank you. Carl says, who's Addison? I'm so sorry, Carl. Addison is Pillsbury Yurta. With the yurt emoji. Or with the yurt profile pic, rather. Little Red is Addison. Little Red is Tracy Addison. Nice try, though. Mint Chocolate said, I subbed Abdul. You need 4 more so you can go live. Oh, nice. Nice. Can we get him 4 more subs, guys? To get him to 50? Abdul says, thank you. Carl says, they've never been to my channel then. I've been to your channel, Carl. Tracy Little Red Angel says, mint balls, back at ya. Mint Chocolate says, thank you, Little Red. Pillsbury Yurta Addison says, I have. Appreciate you guys. Russ says, I have, Carl. Pillsbury Yurta Addison says, I just have a bunch of different names. You do. Aren't you due for another name like in a couple of days? We'll have to get used to something different. Mint Chocolate says, I have a while back, Carl. Oh, cool. Appreciate you. Mary says, subbed Abdul. Appreciate you, Mary. Abdul says, good night. Selamat malam. Good night. Selamat malam. Thank you good night, and thank you so much for coming in, Abdul. I hope to see you again. You take care and have a great rest of your night. Welshman said at nearly 7 p.m. here. Oh, thanks for the heads up, because Maddie's going to be live in half an hour. Welshman says, who, Molly? Abdul? Abdul is it says good night. Mint Chocolate says, night, Abdul. Mary says, I just figured how to go live on a computer. Oh, really? Oh, cool. Carl says, I'm having a moderators meeting. When are you going to have that, Carl? Oh, there's a bird. Let's see if we can get him. Yeah. Come on out, little birdie. Come on out. Come on. Ah. Oh well. I hope you guys got to see him for a second. The birds like to hide. Ooh, my phone's getting really hot. Okay, where was I? Carl says, when are you having the moderator meeting, Carl? Abdul says, Mary Giggs. Mary Giggs says, yes, Abdul. Bruce, hey, good to see you. Hello and welcome. Bruce says, hello, good afternoon. Mint Chocolate says, where is it go? Yeah, it flew off like as soon as it came out from behind the tree. I'm sorry about that. I think we're getting ready to have a rainstorm here, so the animals aren't forthcoming. Abdul says, I have subscribed to this live. Thank you so much, Abdul. I will return the favor as soon as the live is over. Russ is eating. Good for you, Russ. Hope you're enjoying that beer. Mint Chocolate says, hi, Bruce. Mary says, Bruce the dog is adorable. Yes, I agree. Bruce is at Mint. Abdul says, good morning. Salamat Paggy. Salamat Paggy. Welshman says, oh, okay. Maddie says, more baby angels. I've split. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, you're going to be overrun with baby angelfish. Well, with angelfish, because they grow up. Carl says, I'm jealous of people. Goodbye. I'm so sorry to hear that, Carl. I'm so sorry to hear that. I wish that you could just enjoy and not worry about the numbers and just enjoy what you do. Enjoy hanging out with friends and enjoy what you do. And channels do grow slowly. And I get that that's really frustrating. And so if you don't enjoy it, you won't be able to stick with it. And if you don't stick with it, you'll never get there. Steven says, whoop, whoop, still going strong. Nice. Hey, Steven. Good to have you here. Thanks for sticking around. Abdul says, keep it up. TPAP Samanica. Mary says, hey, Steven. Steven says, hey, buddy Maddie. Hey, Maddie, buddy. Russ says, slowly calming down now, Mom. Bruce says, Mary's gig, thank you. She's a mess. Mint Chocolate says, hi, Steven. Steven says, hey, Mary. Maddie says, Molly, give Steve M 10 seconds, please. Steve M. I'm not sure who you're talking about, Maddie. But, here. There, now you can do it, Maddie. Steven says mint. Abdul says good. Steven's laughing. Pokey says Bruce, MVP. Mary says, oh my God, little Howard just threw himself on his back in the kitchen for belly rub. Aw. Dr. Evil does that when he's hungry. And he makes he sounds like he's dying. Addison Pillsbury Yurda says, does anyone have $5 billion to spare? I want to put a super yacht in my backyard. Yeah, I'll get right on that for you, Addison. Bruce says, at Positive Pokies, hello, bro. Mint Chocolate says, sub Steven. Mary says, first time ever. He must have learned it from Wesley. I'll bet he did. I'll bet he did. Pokies is saluting. Abdul says, good afternoon. Helamat Sore. Mint Chocolate says, LOL Pillsbury, I could think of better things to do with that amount. Maddie says, Stephen Pollock. Russ says, YouTube is a grind, but stick with it. Millions of hours get uploaded per day, so every watch is incredible. It really is. It really is. I agree, Russ. Bruce says, no better place to be than the woods. Yeah, there's only one better place to be, and that's the beach, which is a mile in that direction. If I got better cell signal there, I would do a live from the beach. Mary says, sure, Addison, I will write you a check. Yeah, Mary's on it for you. Gary M says 58. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, guys. 58 likes. That's great. Bruce says it's pouring the rain here in Tennessee. Oh, nice. I hope we're getting rain. Mint Chocolate's laughing. Mint Chocolate's laughing at Maddie. Steven says, love you too, buddy. Maddie says, Steven with love. Abdul says, hi. Hi, Abdul. Welshman says, Carl, you okay? Steven says, all good, laughing. Abdul says, where you are during the day or evening. It is actually daytime. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon here. Sanal says, what did I just walk into? You never know, Sanal. You never know. Steven says, Sanal, hi. Welshman says, hi, Sanal. Sanal says, hello, Welshman. Good to see you. Russ says, hi, Sanal. Welshman says, you too. Tracy says, you're doing amazing, Molly. Oh, thank you, Tracy. I appreciate you so much. Sanal says, hello, Steven. Mint Chocolate says, hi, Song. Sanal. I know when I'm typing Sanal on my phone, it auto corrects to Song. Tracy said, would love to see Dr. Evil. Actually, once it cools down a little bit, I'm going to see if I can shove him in his harness and bring him out here. Because otherwise he would eat every living thing out here. Sanal says, hello, Mint. Tracy says, and Chippy. Yeah, I'd love to see Chippy. I think they're all hiding because we're getting ready to have some weather. Even the birds aren't really singing today. Maddie says, hi, Little Red. Russ says, Molly, you are a likes harvester. Apparently, I don't know what I'm doing to get them either, because I'd love to share that information with people. Abdul says, Indonesian, now 1 a.m. Wow, 1 a.m. Wow, it's late. Thank you for being with us so late. Steven says, sub back, Mint. Welshman says, if Mary borrows you $5 million, she wants $15 million back in interest. And Mary's not stupid. Tracy says, appreciate you, Molly. I appreciate you, Tracy. Sanal says, hello, Positive Pokes. Tracy says, how fab. Mint Chocolate says, it's 7:06 p.m. here in the UK. Santic says, Pokey's in the house. Pokey's in the house. I did that wrong. I did that bad. Steven says 2:07 p.m. Well, yeah, you're in Michigan. Russ says, where in the UK, Mint? Pokey says, I'm famous. Yes, you are, Pokies. Mint Chocolate says, Manchester, UK. No way, Mint. Russ is in Manchester. What a small world. What a small world. Josh says, Mom Dog, it's 1:07 p.m. here in melting Texas. Yeah, you're on Central Time, aren't you? Yeah, Central. Russ says, well, Bury. So you're just outside of Manchester then, Russ. Mint Chocolate said, what's up, buddy? Nice to meet a fellow man. Josh says, let's hope the tropical storm doesn't develop into a hurricane. Yeah, absolutely. Steven says, y'all can stalk each other. Abdul says, I want to eat nasi goreng. Nasi goreng. Do you know? Mint Chocolate says, Salford for me. Santix says it's 2:08 a.m. here in the Philippines. Wow, it's really late there, Santix. Russ says, yes, just outer Manchester. Oh, gotcha. Josh says, hey, I'm a man. We'll just take your word for that. We don't require proof here. Russ says, classed as Greater Manchester. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I know Manchester's like huge. Mint Chocolate says, I'm from Huddersfield originally, though. Tracy says, small world. Bruce says, Mary, I subbed you. Appreciate you, Bruce. Welshman says, note to self, keep out of Salford, but don't tell Mint. Russ says, very small world. Tracy says, Tracy is Little Red Angel. Don't suppose there's any Brummies, even American ones. Mint Chocolate is laughing his ass off at Welshman. Josh says, well, if you think about it, I'm a woman. Again, I'm going to take your word for that. I don't require proof. Josh says, because I'm not really acting like a man. Welshman says, been to Salford. They're U.S. women prisons there. Really? Interesting. Mint Chocolate says, LOL, I was meant to type mank, not man. Oh. It was funnier the way you typed it, though. Steven's laughing. Russ says, a few prisons in Manchester. I think that says something. Yeah, that's... I think the more people you get together, the worse they behave. Welshman says, Mint, if I do come through Salford, I will message you not. Josh is laughing. Mint says, Syringe Ways is not in Salford, and another one called Forest Bank too. I'm not heard the name of a woman's prison. Josh says, I read Mank as manic. Russ says Chris Brown was in prison in Manchester a few weeks ago. Really? Yeah, I know he's not the most well-behaved guy. Mint Chocolate says, LOL Welshman, I'm not a shabby mank. LOL, I am just a skateboarder and a stoner. LOL. Russ says, Forest Bank, I believe. Pokey says, sounds like Dr. Evil. What sounds like Dr. Evil? You heard screaming? Santix says, have you spotted Chippy yet? No. We saw a robin that absolutely refused to be on camera, hiding behind the trees. Welshman says, or it must be that one Mint then. YO. Josh says, I'm surprised I ain't in furry jail because I'm crazy. Pokey says, Chris Brown. Gary M says, prefer countryside to cities. Would hate to live in London the way it's turned out with all the crime. Yeah, all big cities have crime problems. I think it's just because there's so many people squished together. It's hard to live like that. Mint Chocolate says, it might be Forest Bank, but I know a lot of guys go there too. Welshman says, Mint, I will message you if I do pop through. We'll be by the studios. Josh says, furry jail doesn't exist. Russ says, style is a woman's prison. Yeah, it kind of is. Mint Chocolate says, I agree, Gary. Oh, there's some birds. Can you guys hear those birds? Mint Chocolate says, what is prison? I've never been. Right? Me either. Russ says London is bad now. I can imagine. I mean, London's huge and it's a really super old city. Welshman says BGN, that one is in Cheshire. Russ says yes. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me here. I just want to take a minute to say that I appreciate absolutely everybody that comes through here. You guys are all wonderful. I appreciate you supporting me. I appreciate you supporting each other. Josh says, so my friend is scared of furries, so I scared the heck out of him by showing up to his house in full fursuit. Pokey says, Molly MVP. Appreciate you, Pokies. Pokey's MVP. Mint Chocolate says, you're welcome. Thanks for having us. Oh, you're more than welcome. Pokey says, we just had FurryCon. I've never heard of that. Russ says, Molly is a legend. You're a legend, Russ. I appreciate you guys so much. Pokey says, I didn't go near town. Welshman says, Mint, you're right. No women's prison there. Phil, hey, good to see you. Phil says hi. Josh says, and he won't let me back in his house. Hopefully no restraining orders on me yet. Wow, that sounds like it escalated quickly. Pokey says, it brings the city money. Oh, yeah. Tracy says, oh, Molly, with love. I love you, Tracy. Josh says, FurryCon can't go because too far. Sorry about that, Josh. Gary M says, if I ever win the lottery, I would have 2 houses, one in the middle of nowhere and one in the town for my wife. I'm sure she'd appreciate that, Gary. Mint Chocolate says, hi, Radio Dude. Radio Dude is Phil, for anybody who didn't know. Mary says, who's Tracy? Tracy is Little Red Angel. Mary says, cool, Gary. Josh says, us furries bring no money. We broke. I owe $2,890 to someone. Wait in the town for your wife. Mary says, hi, Tracy. Welshman says, Mary, you going live and what time? Yeah, that's a good question. Are you going live today, Mary? Or are you live now? Tracy says, I'm Tracy. Tracy Little Red says, I'm Tracy. Josh says, oh, I'm dying of laughter. Welshman says, hi. Appreciate you sticking around, Welshman. Mary says, I just paid for Janet's debt. That's why I can take my little vacay. Yeah, I'm so excited for you. Phil says, thanks, Molly. You just blew my disguise. Oh, sorry, Radio Dude. Radio Dude is Phil. Mary says, I'm going live soon. Okay, cool. Josh says, we missed you, Mary. Yeah. I always miss Mary when she's not live. Mary says, Tracy says, Tracy. DJM, hello and welcome. Good afternoon. DJM says, good afternoon. Mary says, thanks, Josh. Josh says, you need to stop being so funny. Welshman says, well, she's live. She's breathing. Mint Chocolate says, hi, DJM. Mary says, Phil is Radio Dude. Thank you, Mary. Get the word out. Abdul says, hi. appreciate you hanging out, Abdul, especially it's so late there. Mary says, I wanted to watch Molly. Aww. Aw, Mary. You're so sweet. DJM says, hi, Mitt. Little Red Angel Tracy says, hi, Mary. Josh says, well, she is alive. She is breathing and typing, LOL. Poke says, Molly's all right. Tracy says, hello, everyone. Tracy says, I'm Tracy. Pokey says, we don't want Molly's head to get big, guys. Yeah, I don't want that to happen. Josh is laughing. Tracy says, in case I've missed any, hellos. Hellos all around. Pokey says, tone it down, people. Tone what down? Welshman says, we have a shop called Molly Sweet Shop. Oh, really? We have we used to have a chain in Michigan called Molly Maids. And I used to, when I was in high school, I used to get called Molly McButter and Molly Maid. Good times, good times. Welshman says, or I'm sorry, Phil Radio Dude says, Molly must have a new camera mount. I don't see the deck. Yes, I do. I did get a new mount. And it's the one that you recommended, the one with the extendable arm. Pokey says, good job. Radio Dude says, Molly already has a big head. That's true. Pokey says, Phil is laughing at Phil. Welshman says, I will go live and show you one day. Just almost at 100 subs. Nice. How far off are you, Josh? Phil says, hey, Posse Pokies. I don't remember your name. His correct name is Pokies, damn it. That's his real name. Pokey says, Johnny Johnson. Laughing. Gary. Phil says, plus pokes. Josh says, Pokies, damn it. His name is Pokies, damn it. Everything's getting quiet again. I wonder if we're getting rain. Where I am, it has to rain fairly hard for me to actually feel any rain. Pokey says you do the hokey pokey, then you turn yourself around. Joe says, now I can't say that without that can't speak English. Now I can't say that without parenthesis or quotation that can't speak English. I think that went over my head, Josh, sorry. Phil says, good to see you again, Pokies, damn it. Pokey says, pinched up, Dr. Evil. No, I've already been bit today, thank you. Pokey says, I'm everywhere. Yeah, Pokies is like me. Pokies supports a lot of people. Josh says, quotes. Oh, okay. Pokey says, I put the wrench or the watch on eBay and the hammer. Oh, cool. I'm kind of interested in that tool. I mean, I don't have anything I could do with it, but it looked pretty cool. And my ex-husband pawned off all my tools from when I was a, and they were my grandfather's tools actually, from when I was a mechanic, when I was in college. But I can buy them back. Josh says, Pokey's damn it, it's here. Pokey says, it's old. I was like $3 deal. Oh, you sold it already? Russ says, I've just accidentally spilt a bowl of water onto myself. Well, that should help you cool down, Russ. Hope you didn't get your phone. Santic says, the hammer looks cool and looks vintage. Yeah, it's very interesting. It interests me. Pokey says, Pokies isn't famous. Yes, you are, Pokies. Tracy says, how? Pokey says, I paid. Oh, you paid $3 for it. Okay. Okay. That's right. I was there. Russ says, washing up bowl. Now I'm wet, though. I'm sorry, Russ. But at least it happened on a good day, so it didn't ruin your day. Josh says, the water would evaporate here. Not here, it's so humid. Gary M says, how many beers you had? How many beers you had, like? Russ says, looks like I peed myself. Might want to change your pants then, Russ. Pokey says, watch was 5 and it's a relic fossil Victoria. How much you gonna put that up for? Or how much did you put that? Pokey says, no beers, bucko. Yeah, Pokey's Russ had a huge, huge monumental thing happen to his channel today, and he's celebrating. So, I mean, yeah, I don't drink. I've had the same 6 bottles of wine for like 4 years now, 5 years now. But Russ has totally, I mean, I don't have a problem with other people drinking as long as they don't drive or operate heavy machinery, especially that's over me. Russ says, not enough yet, mate. Pokey says, Boddingtons? Boddingtons? Boddingtons for all? I don't know what that is, Pokies. Tracy says, is laughing at Russ. Pokey says it's around 20. Oh, that's a deal. Tracy says, you sure you're not making an excuse? It was a quote-unquote spill. Pokey says, Russ only has monumental things occurring. Yes, Russ has big things happening. Phil says, Molly, I've had the same liquor for 15 years. Is it liquor or wine, though? Russ says, might be, Tracy. Pokey says, English beer Boddingtons? I'm familiar with that, as evidenced by the way I know how to pronounce it. Yurt, Addison, Pillsbury Yurt is still here. Appreciate you hanging out, Addison. I appreciate you. Tracy's laughing at Russ. Russ says, thanks, Pokies. Pokies is saluting. Phil says it's liquid. Real men don't whine. Oh, Phil. Oh, how I must disagree with you. Every woman in here will tell you that men whine. One says, actually, one, this, I appreciate your point of view and your religion. This isn't a religious channel, though, just because I want everybody to feel comfortable with what they believe. I do appreciate you coming in, though, and you're welcome to come in, stay, and spread joy and happiness. Pokey says, I made my own wine. He did. He made strawberry wine. He made strawberry wine. And you can, if you go to his channel, you can see videos of it. Josh says, hold on. Earlier I said I can't speak English. Hold up. Let me speak French. No, please don't. I can barely speak English. Pokey says, Pokies can wine, damn it. Russ is gonna start the housework mall, but I'll still be here listening. Appreciate you, Russ. Yeah, I know you got a lot to clean up there. Dylan is Fishing Geek. Good to see you. Dylan, he says, good afternoon. Russ says, hi, Dylan. Dylan says, hey, Russ. Phil says, men only whine when we're dying, like when we have a cold. Is that what you meant to put? Thanks, Russ. Stats! Oh my gosh, Stats, I was asking about you. I haven't seen you in a while. How are you? Good to see you. Stats says, wine, some for you. How do you do? Josh says, bonjour. Dylan says, did you guys see my pea puffer all puffed out? I'm just, no, but I totally have to see that. Phil says, hi, Stats. Russ says, a lot of cleaning up to do. Yeah, you do. Russ says, yes, Dylan. Josh says, I whine all the time. Pokey says, saw your pea puffer. Pokey says, that sounds that sounds dirty. That's nothing. That's nothing. Phil says, yes, a cold. Stats says, howdy, radio dude. Oh my gosh, it's 2:30. Maddie's going to be going live here, guys, like any second. So I'm going to go ahead and end this live stream. I want to thank each and every one of you so much for coming. Josh says, can't get my way, wine can't get food, wine. Pokey's sludin'. I appreciate, oh, holy crud, 64 likes. Thank you guys so much. Stat says, I've been living the hood life, riding fast golf carts with friends, swimming in shores, auctions, summer, barbecue. Nice. You are more than forgiven, Stats. You're more than forgiven. We missed you. Pokey says, pinch Dr. Evil. No, I don't want to get bit. Pokey says, pea puffer. I'm going to get some eventually. Stats says, golf cart. Yeah, I knew what you meant. Addison Pillsbury Yurda says, I don't feel ready to play some Siege, but I'm still going to try to play. You soldier on, Addison. You can do it. Josh says, pea puffer. Gary says, night all. Good night, Gary. Good night, everyone in the UK. Yeah. Everybody have a fantastic weekend. Everybody go forth and be kind.